During an interview with Patrick Bet David, Raytheon whistleblower Eric Hecker reveals that he is likely an unwitting asset for the CIA.
But you're saying you've never been involved with CIA, you've not done anything with DIA, that's not something you've done in the past before?
I have never been directly employed by any of those companies, alphabet agencies, however you want to title them. But having looked backwards, I question the proximity that I was to them. I may have been some sort of unknown asset, but I can tell you that certainly I was involved in peculiar activities 24 hours a day. There were certain clients that could call me 24 hours a day, and these clients would dictate when I met them, what vehicle I showed up with, which mansion we were going to.
Are these names we would recognize?
John Tunney was one of them, owner of the Carlyle Group. Familiar with the Carlyle Group?
Of course I am, yes.
I did a lot of peculiar work for the Carlyle Group and their facilities and their personnel.
So to unpack peculiar work, what does that mean?
I would say that I was set up as some sort of getaway driver.
Getaway driver from what?
Whatever he was doing in that mansion.
Did you ever see anything weird where you're like, this is kind of weird what they're working on?
I think I saw that all the time.
Through his billionaire handlers, Hecker was sent to Antarctica as a plumber and given full security access. He claims to have seen directed energy weapons that are capable of creating earthquakes, and seems unaware of the obvious, that he was sent there by his billionaire handlers to do exactly what he's doing now, saying that the government is creating earthquakes. It's interesting to note that even though they happen constantly and are often devastating, there is no official public earthquake reporting. The Dutchsinse channel on YouTube stands out as the premier source for up-to-date earthquake information. For over a decade, Michael Janich has been using USGS data made available to the public and reporting on it, kind of like a weatherman for earthquakes and volcanoes. He has successfully predicted several earthquakes over the years, using simple methods he learned from years of observation. Janich has come under fire from government officials in the past, but they have now convinced him to stop. It appears as if the government doesn't want anyone looking into earthquake activity and wants you to think that they are creating them. And maybe they are. But in the late 1940s, the US government discovered evidence of a coming magnetic pole flip. This information was initially classified and was immediately followed by the beginning of the unscientific global warming hoax. The CIA censored The Adam and Eve Story by Chan Thomas, which describes cataclysms that cause advanced civilizations to vanish from the earth without a trace. We've covered this subject before in the report Imminent Cataclysm and the Plan to Survive the Great Reset. And suspicious observers who have been covering this subject for years is saying that we are in it right now.
It is important we review the two recent studies confirming that we did have a mini geomagnetic excursion in the middle of the Holocene about 6,000 years ago, first found in China and then confirmed in volcanic flows in Russia. We have added it to the list of officially confirmed excursions in recent history. We do appear to have magnetic changes on the planet every 6,000 years. There are several studies one could look to for the fairly perfect lineup of these geomagnetic changes on Earth, with major environmental disasters, including the peaks of species extinction. And there's no mystery as to why. The magnetic field of Earth, which protects our planet from space radiation, weakens tremendously in these excursions and becomes misaligned with the poles, leading to major influx of space energy to Earth. NASA scientists and others declared in the year 2000 that we had lost 10% of the magnetic field since the middle of the 1800s, and the ESA SWARM magnetic field mission upgraded that number to 15% in their 2010 mission report and update. 10% lost in 150 years, and then another 5% lost in only a decade. That's serious. And several subsequent studies confirmed that the magnetic field has begun changing faster and faster, all pointing to one inevitable conclusion. The cycle is not only due again, but it's happening, and it doesn't take thousands of years, and no, it's no small matter for the Earth and the creatures that live here.
Greg Reese reporting.